Hey everyone, what a day. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys for a second. Always peace of mind when it comes to talking to you guys on the issues and being around people that actually get it for a change. Now, I know you guys out there feel the exact same way when it comes to the issues we face because the vote blues, they out there, they can't fathom why we do what we do. They just don't get it, and the scary thing is they don't really care to get it. So they're what you call the full cup people, the people that you really don't need to waste too much time on. And after seeing so much, after being called so many different names, and I know you guys out there feel the same way, I want to take a moment to reintroduce myself. I want to reintroduce myself. I'm Kendall Sen Sullivan. And the vote blues out there say that you and I are delusional. So I am the delusional person that said, you know what? I'm going to vote my principles over my fears. I'm the delusional person that said, you know what? You screwed Bernie in the primaries. And I'm not going to sit here and carry the water for you in a general election so you can have a pass to do the same thing again and again. So you know what? I'm going to vote for what I believe in. I've done that delusional type thing, that revolutionary type thing. So that's why I want to reintroduce myself. I'm that naive little kid that said, you know what? I'm not going for the same old corruption anymore. I'm not going to go for the status quo. I'm that delusional kid that said, you know what? I have my ancestors fought and died, blood, sweat, and tears for our right to vote for who we choose to vote for. And so for us taking those things, taking that step, taking those bold actions, we're delusional. You and I are somehow delusional and crazy. It makes you think about, from a comic book days or the Batman, for example. It makes you think, wow, what if Joker was actually the good guy and Batman was really the bad guy? I mean, we are the one that's called crazy. We're the one that's called delusional for standing up for what we believe in. And apparently, some kind of way, ignoring what you believe in is the same thing to do. Ignoring what you actually stand for is some kind of way revolutionary type thing to do. The fear, the politics of fear, the politics that has got us nowhere, the politics that's got us in Iraq war, the politics that has got us in two wars at the same time, the politics that still got us in a situation that we're having debt ceiling fights in a nation that's monetary sovereign, and that's their so-called sanity. They can keep it. I would rather stay delusional from now on to the end. You know who else was delusional? The people that ended slavery, the people that stood for the Civil Rights Act. I guess they were delusional too for not standing up for not standing against the status quo. So they're so delusional, guys. I think, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to start talking about 2020 when we haven't even got this president inaugurated yet. But they're on track. The vote blues and the Democrats are on track to re-electing Donald Trump. Yeah, they're going to play a role in it. At this rate now, if I was advising the Trump campaign, I would be sipping Kool-Aid, feeling very well. And I'll be feeling very well because the reason that the Democrats don't realize why they lost. They're too busy out here blaming you and I for why Hillary Clinton lost, instead of looking at the fact that your party nominated someone that mostly won swing states, that mostly won red states in the primary. They ignored the fact that she was on the FBI investigation. They ignored the fact that they ignored the entire base of voters that said burn your bus, and they meant it. They was not lying. I don't know who the DNC, I don't know what lying people that the DNC normally deal with, but when we said burn your bus, we meant it. When we said jail a bus, we meant it. I don't know what type of lying people you guys normally deal with, but we're not those people. When we say something, we mean it, and we stick to it, and we don't change up or switch up regardless of convenience, no matter what. It's not popular to go against the grain. It's not popular at all. So I don't know what makes them think that we're so-called entitled, or we're so-called entitled for not caring about Hillary losing. We're not entitled at all. We're awake. We're woke, and we're going to stay that way. We're going to stay that way, and we're going to continue to push and fight for it. And you guys out there that continuously get out there and try to demonize everyone that voted and exercised their constitutional right to stand for what they believe in, regardless of fear and the type of threats you guys put above their heads, screw you. Screw you. We no longer care about you people that are working with a full cup. Full cup people are a waste of time. And you guys out there that sit there and say, "Oh, you entitled because you're willing to deal with Donald Trump presidency," as if Hillary Clinton was any better. They don't care, guys. They don't care. And the same people that claim that they care about rights and civil liberties, I pushed economics to their face many times, and they looked at me and they told me they did not care. So now, if they don't care about economics and economics is king, then how do they care about any of the issues that they claim to care about getting passed? You know what? If you don't care about economics and you say you want universal health care, you are a liar. I'm going there. There's no way to sugarcoat it. If you say you care about free college, but you don't take an action to even learn about economics, if someone presents you with the information and you still turn the other way and turn a blind eye to it, you're lying about the things that you say you care about. You're lying. Because there's no way possible that any piece of legislation in this country is going to get passed without someone asking you, how are we going to pay for it? I don't see how we've gotten so conditioned to accept corruption against us. But we're down for corruption when it works for the top 1%. I don't understand. I don't understand how we got here. But I understand what's going to keep us here. The politics of fear. The voting for the lesser of the two evils. The demonizing of people that are awake. The demonizing of people that refuse to fall in line. It's almost like those that were doing slavery, you had opposition doing slavery. You had the people that was perfectly fine with, being a slave because they didn't know they was a slave. And that's the type of issues that we're dealing with now. We're dealing with people that don't really understand the issues and they don't really tend to care. They only care about their identity politics or getting a woman elected president. And I'm down for getting a woman elected president. But let's get one elected that has credibility. Don't tell me that this one should be elected because she can get things done. Over it, done with it. You know what? We will vote for a third party in the next election cycle if you guys still don't understand. And if you hadn't learned nothing by far, and which we see so far, you guys haven't. I don't know what type of liars that you guys normally deal with. But when you're dealing with these progressives, these real progressives, we tell the truth. And when we tell you we're not going to do something, we're not going to do it. We can't be bought. We won't not sell out. We are a group of people. We are a group of people across this nation that are down to stand up for the values that we care about, and they are not afraid to tell the truth. And I promise you, with every fiber inside of me, this is what we believe in. And I promise you, these people will not lie to you. When they tell you that they're jail a bus, or they tell you that they burn your bus, if they tell you that they're not going to vote for a candidate because they don't like the issues that they stand for, believe them. If you try to shove someone down their throat again, you're going to end up with the same results. They will not support your flawed, Wall Street corrupt candidate. It will not happen. That's not how we work, guys. And this whole thing about throwing out talking about Russia, the Russian hack into our elections, that just pisses us off even more. Because it shows us that you guys don't care about what was in the emails. You only care about that the emails was actually exposed. See what I hear when they get out there and say things like, oh, someone's trying to influence the election? What I hear is they out there saying, well, they're trying to tell the truth about Hillary so that can influence the election so people would know not to vote for her. Or they're trying to influence the election about this candidate so that would make people not want to vote for them. You're damn right. You're damn right. If we know something about a candidate, we're not going to vote for him. So they're literally telling us on national television that they want the negative about these political candidates to stay quiet so the American people don't know the truth about them and they can vote for them. You guys have a problem with that? I know you guys have a problem with it. I sure do. Because think about it. If there was nothing in the emails to be hacked, we don't have a problem. We're not having this conversation. It's like saying, for example, let's say Daniela. I hope I pronounced your name wrong. Let's say you was running for president of the United States of America. And you were plotting to do some very corrupt things that will hurt a lot of people. Right? In some kind of way, I hacked into your election. I hacked into your emails. Can you imagine the media, Daniela, saying things like, Kendall's trying to influence the election by telling the truth about her or him, by telling the truth about Daniela? Can you imagine that? That's how asinine that sounds. That's how egregious it sounds. Not giving a damn about what's in the emails or what's being exposed. They're only talking about the fact that you actually exposed them. You know what? From the corrupt things that was going on throughout that campaign, I'm glad someone told me about it. I'm glad someone told us about it. I don't understand how these folks are so delusional. When I tell you Trump is on track for 2 terms with the way they're going, these guys have learned nothing from the primaries. They have learned nothing from the general election. They still gaslighting and still thinking that the millennials, those spoiled millennials, those spoiled kids, those entitled kids that voted for their values over their fears is the reason your candidate lost. That's the reason your candidate lost. It wasn't us that told you guys to nominate someone with negatives. It wasn't us that told you guys to ignore her negatives. You guys did that. We told y'all she couldn't win. And you know what? I'm telling you this again, too, and I'm going to continue to say it. I don't know what type of liars you guys normally deal with, but when we tell you that we're not going to support corruption, we're not going to support corruption. I don't know how more clear than I can say. We will not support corruption. So in the next election cycle, whether it's a local election, whether it's in the midterms, whether it's in a presidential election, if you put someone out there that is pro-war, that is pro-fracking, that don't stand for the ideas we stand for, don't stand for the ideas we have in our heart, we will vote for a third party again. Period, plain and simple. We are people of our word. We are men of our word. We are women of our word. We are a man of our word. And we are also ladies of our word. We will keep our words because this progressive movement consists of all type of people. This progressive movement is down to speak truth. This progressive movement is down to stand for the issues that we care about, the issues that we fight for. This progressive movement is down to take the baton from those that come before us, that handed it off to us and told us they set the stage for us to take this game to the next level. They set the stage. But we have to fight with those alongside of us that are just like us, but somehow, some way, they've been bit by a zombie. And what I mean by bit by a zombie, the corporate media has gotten to them. They believe everything they hear on the corporate media, talk radio. The establishment has gotten to them. And now they're delusional and Hill bots, establishment bots, Hillary parrots, whatever you want to call them, vote blue sycophants, whatever you want to call them, that's what they are. That's what we're dealing with. We hope that we have them on our side momentarily against Donald Trump, even though they're fighting for the wrong things. But we at least momentarily got them, once they stop attacking us, we may can get some things done. We may can get some things done. Momentarily, they'll rock with us, momentarily, but not for the right reasons. They're still too busy talking about balancing budgets. They're still too busy talking about cutting deficits. They're too busy talking about we can't afford this, we got to do this, we got to do that. I don't understand how in the hell Republicans, year after year, deficits spend. They do it in the military. They deficits spend, but somehow, some way, they always convince Democrats that they have to cut the deficit, even though they never do it themselves. I don't understand how we got there, but that's what happens. That's what happens. Republicans run up the debt, which there is no national debt. There's just numbers on a spreadsheet, but in turn, they deficit spend. And then the minute Democrats get in office, they convince them that they have to cut the deficit, and they get us out there bragging about it, saying how the deficit is falling at a faster rate since World War II. You mean money is being pulled out of the economy at a faster rate since World War II? That's what that does. When someone comes to you and say, with a sense and bold plan of saying, you know, we want to cut the deficit by $4.1 trillion over 10 years, but you have to listen to what they're actually saying. If I came to you and said I want to cut the deficit by $4.1 trillion if I want to take $4.1 trillion out of the economy over the next 10 years, you would say, why the hell would you want to do that, Kendall? And I would say that's the same exact thing that they're selling us every single day when they talk about cutting the deficit. There is no national deficit. We're the issue of our own currency, not the creator. We're the issue of our own currency, not the user. Excuse me, we are the creator of our own currency. And we can never run out of our own dollars. Never. But there's too many out there that still looking at things like this and say, well, you know what, I don't care. But then on the other hand, they want to get out there and tell you that they care about universal health care. Liars. Liars. How are you going to pay for it? That's what they're going to ask you. And what are you going to say? You want to raise taxes? Yep. And then guess what we're going to get? Nowhere. That's why we stay stuck. Raising taxes. You think people, you got people thinking they've got to raise taxes to pay for. You don't have to raise taxes to pay for anything in a country that's monetary sovereign. One of the most embarrassing things that Democrats did, in my opinion, one of the most embarrassing things, is when Bill Clinton cut welfare, took money out of the pockets of hungry people, took money out of the pockets of poor people to balance the budget in a country that's monetary sovereign. Think about that. The money that he pulled out from poor people is just deleted out the system. The government doesn't need poor people's money. Taxes are only there to drive the value of our currency. That's it. We don't need tax dollars to fund the government. Congress funds the government. Congress is the only entity that can write money into existence. And what our job is to pressure Congress to write money into existence for us, to deficit spend, to change the whole notion that deficit spending is a bad thing. We're not like Greece. Stop saying it. We're monetary sovereign. Our dollar isn't pegged. We have a free floating currency. That's what we have, a free floating currency. But you know what? I was watching one of my favorite shows, Walking Dead, and Negan. I'm sure you guys know Negan. I'm gonna be honest. I like Negan's character. But not for real life. But Negan, in that one episode, he caught a guy trying to break free of him. And the guy was trying to break free because Negan is a villain, a bad guy, a bad person. No one would want to live under his rule, right? So one guy was trying to escape. And Negan said, I'm so disappointed that you were trying to escape. Your life was about to get so much cooler. That's how the Hillary Rodham Clinton parents talk to us, talk to you and I today. They talk to you and I and say, you sure should have voted for Hillary Clinton because your life would have been so much cooler. Really? So much cooler with you guys sleep at the wheel. So much cooler with you guys brainwashed. So much cooler to you guys pushing for more war. So much cooler with you guys pushing for balanced budgets, pushing for her pulling money out the economy, pushing more pro-fracking, ignoring all the things that I just talked about, ignoring those things. I don't know what would be cooler about that. But at least we got you guys on our side now for a second. You may be mad at us, but you're gonna come out there and fight. You're gonna criticize us for doing this and doing that, but you're still gonna get out there and fight. At least for a second, at least for a second, I have confidence that you guys will find the streets for a second. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm putting you guys on notice. Progressives are putting you guys on notice. This last election, we put you guys on notice. We let you guys know, hey, if you ignore us again, we're gonna be watching. And when you ignore us, we're going to vote for an alternative. We're gonna do it over and over again. We're no longer committed to a party anymore, folks. No, after this, a lot of us that still was Democrats, like myself, we're done. We're out. Will I support a Democratic candidate if it has progressive ideas? Of course. Will I support anyone that has progressive ideas? Of course. But would I ever be loyal to a party again? Never. Done. Never. Never. The only way I will be loyal to a party again, I won't be able to be loyal to a party again, but I'll put it like this. I'm loyal to the issues. So if Donald Trump comes out, guns blazing, and do some progressive stuff, and which we know is not going to happen, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if he did those things, would I rock with him? Yeah, hell yeah. If he get out there and say taxes don't fund spending, hell yeah, I'll rock with him. We know that's not going to happen, though. We know Paul Ryan and that gang is not going to let that go down. We know that. We know these things. We know that. We know that they believe that we're drowning in debt. We know that they believe that we're a country that's going to end up like Greece. Or we know that they believe they got to cut Social Security benefits and raise the Social Security age for a country that's monetary sovereign. You know what? The only way I see real change coming in this country, first off, I know some may disagree with this. I think we should continuously build up an alternative party at the same point in time that party that claims that they're down for us, that we know is lying to us. We need to make sure that every candidate that runs in 2018 are progressive candidates, the primary, every single Democrat is up for re-election, period. I don't see how that's a controversial thing, to make sure that we promote and push every candidate that's running running for re-election, that they're primary by real progressives. That's what we need to do. That needs to be one of our goals, along with building up a third party, because I don't trust any of them anymore. We need alternative parties. It's ridiculous that we are a nation that only has two parties. It's so easy for these two parties to get bought off. Excuse me. They are bought off. And they are bought off because no one really cares to do anything about it. And we stood up against it this last election. And when we stood up against it, we got criticized. And we got called entitled little kids. So today I reintroduced myself as this delusional kid that votes his values over his fears. The delusional kid that says, you know what? I don't want more war. I don't want more fracking. I don't want any of these things. Is Donald Trump going to solve those issues? Hell no. But are the vote blues going to help us stop Donald Trump? Probably so. Would the vote blues help us stop Hillary Clinton for the exact same thing? Hell no. We know these things. We know it. We know it. You got some Democrats that were silent on Standing Rock that now they want to talk about Standing Rock. So I guess because now they got permission to talk about Standing Rock. I'm so tired of all the phoniness. I'm tired of it. You're either going to be right on the issue or you're not. Or if you can't show that you're willing to stand up for things that are unpopular in your own caucus, then I'm not impressed. If you can't show us those things, we're not impressed. If you're scared to stand up for what's popular, listen, don't ever waver what you actually believe in because you believe your caucus may not like it, or those around you may not like it, or even your friends may not like it. Stand up for what's right, regardless of who agrees or disagrees. You stand up for what you believe in. If you lose your moral compass, then our values are lost at sea. If you lose your moral compass, then what's the issue of even being there? If I was in the Senate or in the House, you think I really care to be there if I can't push through my agenda or stand up for what I actually believe in? Hell no, I'd rather go home. Who wants to sit around and just be a silent puppet robot that can't even fight for what he actually wants to fight for? Or can't fight for what she wants to fight for? Who does that? I wouldn't want to do that. The minute it turned, if I was in the office and the minute it turned to be like that, the minute I would just rather go home. Period. If Real Progressives was a platform where we had to worry about, can't stand for this or can't say this, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't. But it's not that way. We are a group of people, progressives across this nation, are a group of people that aren't afraid to tell the truth, and they're quick on their feet. And I don't want to be around anyone that's not like that. I want to be around people that stand up for what they believe in, people that stand up for what they believe in their heart. Those are the people that you know are real. Even if they stand up and they disagree with you, whether you agree with them or not, you may still disagree with what they're fighting for, but at least you know that they're real. That's what it's all about. Who's real and who's fake? Who's a real progressive? Who was down to vote against Hillary Clinton, even though it was unpopular? You and I was. How many people sold out and voted for Hillary Clinton, and now coming back want their progressive tag again? A lot of them. Be wary of those people. I'm not going to say shut them out because we don't want to start separating people, but be wary of those. Be leery of those people. Be leery of those people. Those that they talk the big talk, but when the minute came, they left you guys out there in the foxhole. They left you and I out there standing and called us ridiculous for not coming along with them. Be leery of those people. Be very leery of those people. Because that's a sign of weakness. It's a sign that they will sell you out again and leave you hanging, and leave you standing in the dry. They don't care. A lot of them done these things. They left you and I in the foxhole hanging when we said burning a bus, and when we said jail a bus. They left you and I hanging. Not only did they just leave you and I hanging, because that would have been one thing, but they demonized us, called us ridiculous, said that we were childish for fighting for the very same thing that they told us that we stood for. When you lead the masses, when you tell people that you believe in burning your bus, jail a bus, and that you're not going to fall to the establishment, when you tell the masses that, you have an obligation to follow through. Period. You have an obligation to follow through. But those people did not do that. And now they're coming back wanting their progressive label. I'm not giving any. For far as I'm concerned, their progressive label has been snatched. They got to earn it back. And I don't know how they do that. Because I don't trust them anymore. I don't trust them when it comes to the situation where we're having to face the unpopular situation. I don't trust them to stand there with us and fight with us. We need to know who's got our back. We need to know who's down for the team. We're progressives. We're like a family. You and I out there, we are like a family. We are the people out there that take the unpopular positions and get called crazy on a day in and day out basis. We take that heat. It's not easy sometimes taking the heat. It's not easy sometimes being awake. It's not easy knowing that our government isn't broke. It's not easy knowing that we are a country that's monetary sovereign and we have people starving kids out there because the government won't spend because the government says that it's broke. And we know that's not true. It's not easy being awake. It's not easy knowing the things that we know. It's not easy knowing the things that we know. But you know what, though? Now that we know them, we have an obligation to stand up and fight for them and continue to educate ourselves and continue to educate many people as possible. Because we're never going to see a real progressive agenda in this nation unless we fight for it. We're never going to see the type of change that we want to happen if we don't take a serious look and get very serious about economics, because economics is key. There's nothing in this country that we're going to be able to pass and push through without people asking us how you're going to pay for it, or you're going to run out of other people's money. We have to change that narrative, guys. That's why we're here. We have to change the narrative. We have to put an end to the issue that we're broke and we're drowning in debt. We have to put an end to those things. And until we do, free college would be a pipe dream. Universal health care is a pipe dream. If we let them sell us on the notion that our dollar is pegged to something, that we have to balance budgets. That's where we at. That's where we are. We got a vote blues to our disposal. We need to try to get the vote blues on board with this. It's not going to be easy. Some of them going to be full cups. There are some out there that may be, willing to listen. The vote blues aren't bad people. Nobody. I'm not sitting here to call anyone bad people. But one thing for sure, and I think Steve mentioned this the other day. I'm pretty sure he did. One of the most painful things watching on social media is watching the misinformed try to inform. Wow. It's like watching glass breaking, shattering. And then they're willing to call you delusional because you won't stand up for corruption with them. Because you're too awake. You know too much. You know too much. And they're going to get out there and thank you for voting for Donald Trump, even though you and I didn't vote for Donald Trump. We voted for Jill. And when we voted for Jill, a vote went to Jill, right? There was no magical extra vote that went to the person that you guys happened to oppose because we voted for a third party. It sounds insane. Stop saying it, please. I'm Kendall Sen Sullivan. I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day, guys. Peace, and I'm out.